Really isn't lost on me what a privilege it is to be given a show like this, and I will really do my best not to let any of you down, truly. You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
For a moment in the 2000s, James Corden was one of the most recognizable faces in global entertainment. The British comedian with a quick wit, an easy smile, and a gift for performance. From modest beginnings in British television to hosting his own late-night show in the United States, his rise looked effortless. At first glance, it was the kind of career that dreams are made of. But few stories of meteoric ascent end without turbulence. For Corden, that turbulence would come not as a single catastrophic event, but as a series of moments that gradually eroded the public's affection, precisely because his public persona was once built on warmth, humor, and connection. This is the story of that journey, from beloved entertainer to a figure whose career became mired in controversy and criticism, all unfolding in the public eye. Born in London in 1978, James Corden first found success as an actor and writer in the UK. The show that first brought him widespread acclaim was the sitcom Gavin and Stacey, which he co-created and starred in. Loved for its warmth, humor, and relatable characters, the series cemented Corden as a cultural fixture in Britain. By 2015, that success had carried him across the Atlantic. CBS tapped him to host The Late Late Show, giving Corden his own late-night platform in one of television's most competitive spaces. The gamble paid off, at least at first. Audiences quickly gravitated toward his affable style. Celebrity interviews felt less like formal talk show stops and more like shared moments. But it was carpool karaoke, a recurring segment in which Corden drove around with musical superstars singing along, that exploded in popularity. With millions of views online and some of the biggest names in music participating, it wasn't long before those clips became cultural phenomena, watched far beyond the traditional late-night audience.
Wait, you have to show me how much money you've got in the car. Hang on, how much money have we got here?
Let's count it together.
Oh my, and this is just you. On your own.
That just is.
What is this, $1,000?
Like
is this 1,000 each one?
10,000.
Now, this is 10.
Yeah, 10.
You know you can go to an ATM, right? 10, 20.
Corden seemed capable of blending viral appeal with mainstream entertainment in a way few hosts had managed. For a time, it appeared he had redefined the late-night playbook for a digital age. Yet, around 2022, the public narrative began to shift. Stories emerged that jarred with the persona audiences had grown to admire. That year, a conflict at one of New York City's most iconic restaurants became one of the first widely reported controversies of its kind. The owner of Balthazar, a restaurant frequented by celebrities and socialites alike, publicly accused Corden of treating staff rudely and abusively. The incident unfolded on social media, where the restaurateur declared Corden banned from the establishment, a dramatic statement amplified around the world. Corden would later apologize publicly on his own show, describing his comment to a server as rude and ungracious. This moment was not merely about dinner etiquette. For many, it was the first time they saw a contrast between the television persona and the behavior reported by those behind the scenes.
As her meal came wrong to the table the third time, in the heat of the moment, I made a sarcastic, rude comment, right, about cooking it myself, and it is a comment I deeply regret.
As the restaurant incident circulated, it didn't exist in isolation. It landed in an environment where public opinion had already begun to cool. By the early 2020s, James Corden was no longer just a late-night host. He was everywhere. Films, musicals, award shows, voice roles, televised events. What once felt like momentum slowly began to feel like saturation. This wasn't a scandal, it was fatigue. Audiences started revisiting moments they had once brushed off, jokes that didn't land, interviews that felt awkward, performances that felt forced. None of these moments were new. What changed was the lens through which people were now watching. When public affection fades, neutrality doesn't replace it. Scrutiny does. In 2022, another moment added to the growing conversation. During a monologue, Corden delivered a joke that viewers quickly noted was nearly identical to one previously told by comedian Ricky Gervais.
When you see Elon Musk talk about Twitter, he does this thing where he goes, well, it's the town square. It's the town square, that's what it is. I'm like, but it isn't. Because if someone puts up a poster in a town square that says, guitar lessons available.
That's like going into a town square, seeing a big notice board, and there's a notice, guitar lessons.
Like, you don't get people in the town go, I don't want to play the guitar!
And you go, but I don't f***ing want guitar lessons.
Well, then that sign line wasn't for you. It was for somebody else. You don't have to get mad about all of it.
Fine, it's not for you then. Just walk away. Don't worry about it.
The clip spread rapidly online. Corden addressed it publicly, stating that the similarity was unintentional and that the joke had been written by his team. He did not claim originality and acknowledged the overlap. No formal accusation or disciplinary action followed, and the incident did not escalate beyond public criticism. But again, the importance wasn't the severity of the event, it was the timing. At a moment when goodwill was already thinning, even minor missteps were no longer shrugged off. At the same time, Corden's film appearances were increasingly met with resistance. In 2019, he appeared in Cats, a high-profile musical adaptation that was widely criticized upon release. While the film's failure wasn't pinned on any single performer, Corden became one of the faces associated with a project that quickly turned into a cultural punchline. This fed a growing perception online, one that suggested Corden continued to receive major opportunities despite mounting public disinterest. It's a narrative the internet has used before, and it's one it rarely lets go of once established. Unlike other celebrity downfalls, there was no investigation, no lawsuit, no cancellation announcement. Instead, there was a gradual cooling of relevance. Ratings for The Late Late Show declined alongside broader changes in late-night television. Streaming, short-form content, and shifting audience habits were reshaping the industry, and the format that once made Corden indispensable no longer carried the same cultural weight. In 2021, Corden announced that he would step away from The Late Late Show. His final episode aired in April 2023. The departure was framed as his decision, a desire to return to theater and spend more time with family. No evidence contradicts that explanation, but context matters. By the time he left, the excitement that once surrounded his presence had largely evaporated. James Corden did not disappear. After Late Night, he returned to stage work and other projects, continuing a career that remains active and financially successful. There was no official exile from Hollywood, no blacklist, no definitive ending. What changed was something harder to quantify: the affection, the sense that audiences were rooting for him. And once that is gone, success alone is no longer enough to carry a public figure forward without resistance. By the time James Corden exited late-night television, something subtle but important had already happened. The conversation around him had changed, not in headlines, not in press releases, but in tone. Where his name once triggered clips, laughter, and applause, it now triggered debates, memes, and eye rolls. And in entertainment, that shift matters more than any single controversy. Public perception didn't turn overnight. It accumulated. Online, stories from crew members, audience members, and service workers began circulating, not as verified exposés, but as repeated anecdotes. Individually, none of them proved wrongdoing. Collectively, they painted a picture that felt increasingly believable to the audience consuming them. And that distinction matters, because reputations in the digital age are rarely destroyed by court rulings. They're reshaped by patterns. Once people believe they see a pattern, every new moment becomes evidence, even when it's inconclusive. Old clips resurfaced. Interviews once praised as playful were now dissected for discomfort. Interactions with guests were slowed down, clipped, analyzed. Silence was reinterpreted. Laughter was questioned. Nothing new was discovered, but everything was recontextualized.